What's going on, YouTube? Mr. Almighty is here, and we are back again with some more Atlanta Falcons content. You dig what I am saying? Yes, sir. We back, man. We got our defensive coaches this time. Yeah, you got Jeff. Oh, no. We got some more of our position coaches. I thought it was just the defensive coaches this time because we ain't really talked to them like that. But it's more multiple coaches. Yeah, it's only 3. So we got Jeff Ulbrich right here as of right now. So we're going to jump off into this. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share it to your friends and family. Turn your notifications on so you know when I post new content. Let's jump off into it.
Hard or rare to find like really good alignment, right, between like a coach and GM. Do you feel like you've seen that here with this regime?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the relationship I think that Ian and Kevin has is it's tremendous. There's respect. There's a level of you can see them just playing off each other and making decisions in regard to free agency, the draft, and everything in between. So it's one of those rare occurrences that exists.
Opportunity.
What about it, or I guess how have they approached it when they initially got here? Could you tell, how early on could you tell that this is a regime that really can find alignment and has reached alignment?
It just all the questions they were asking. You know, whenever there's like that's the start of the conversation, I think you got a chance to be special and build it the right way. You know, when you come in just dictating, I think sometimes things can get a little wonky, but it wasn't that way at all. And I've enjoyed it. Like it's been a great environment, and I'm learning a lot too. So
you're having to replace 2 very valuable players from your defense last year with Onyemata and then Caden Ellis. So
yeah.
What are your early impressions from?
I'm gonna say this. I don't think Onyemata is that much of a super valuable. Like he did kind of stop the run quite a bit, but bro, we still had one of the worst run defenses. I think. Like Onyemata didn't do enough to me personally, and Caden Ellis was good for like being that on the ball linebacker, but when you got him to be in the off ball and he kind of had to be out in space, that's where he got in trouble. But I would say Caden Ellis' impact will kind of be missed.
Those units, just in the wake of those guys, losing those guys and the guys who have since come in and filled in.
Yeah, both tremendous players and even better people, as you guys know. Going to be hard to replace on the field, off the field, and everywhere in between. So we miss them. You know, we love them, respected what they did here, and they're going to do amazing things in their new spots. And they won't be replaced by necessarily one person. You know, it's going to be a little bit by committee. You know, both of them had a really.
I almost want to say F. Caden Ellis because he took his goofy self back to the Saints.
Unique skill set, but I do believe we have the guys in the building to get it done.
But we got the percolator,
it's going to be a lot of work, and we're going to try to have to figure things out through the spring and training camp, but I'm excited about the guys we have here.
What is your vision for Mason Smith too, and what does he offer that I don't know necessarily what that Rook doesn't, but like what is the difference there in their games? Would you mind if I just talk on Mason? Because I really appreciate Rook and all he did, and he worked his butt off here, and nothing but respect for him, and wish him well with Jacksonville. But Mason's just been a really pleasant surprise because you just don't know. You know, I know what he was in college, and I was excited about that player and prospect. But until you get your hands on him, it's just unfamiliar territory. But you know, since he stepped in this building, he's just showed eagerness to learn, intent to work, great attitude. He's enormous.
Matter of fact, let me give a moment of silence and shout out to Jeff Over because I like the way he handled that question because he was like, "Can I just talk about Mason?" Because he didn't down the player. Like that's a legit coach. So he was like, "Man, I ain't gonna down. I ain't gonna say what's bad. I ain't gonna give I ain't gonna give the players' weaknesses away for other people to expose him like that." That's a real coach.
You know, he's a big guy with incredible movement for the size of man that he is. You know, so whenever you got a big guy like that can move, that has real intent, that loves this game, willing to put the work in, like something special usually occurs. So I'm excited about his future here.
What's the next step for Jalen Walker, and what do you think the potential and growth can be in year 2?
There's a lot of steps. You know, the fact that he is so versatile, the fact that like his calling card is his ability to do so many different things. we're gonna need to become better at everything that he does, whether it's pass rush, edge setting for the line of scrimmage, small roll off the ball, coverage, blitz. Like we're going to ask him to do a lot. He is one of those guys that's going to be in a similar role that Caden had last year. And, what we asked Caden to do, I'd never been around anything like that before in the past. There was days where he was an outside backer, days he was a defensive end, days he was an inside backer, days he was really in some ways a nickel, so that's hard to replace.
His ass didn't need to be no more nickel. Don't bring his ass back out to that nickel spot.
Jalen's up to the task, and Jalen's going to bring his own flavor to it too. I think Jalen's got some superpowers that are really unique, and he's tough. He loves this game. He has this obvious skill set that we all see. What you don't see is the guy behind the scenes. He's got some real authentic leadership to him. A guy that's, this word comes, thrown around way too often, the force multiplier, but that's what he is. He's a guy that elevates people around him, and he'll make us better collectively as he gets better individually.
Jeff, when it comes to the pass rush, how much does the game planning change when you have James Pierce in the lineup as opposed to having him out of the lineup?
We'll see how this group, progresses and comes together, and we'll see what we're capable of doing. When your rush is humming with 4, we'd all like to lean on that, and play coverage, and obviously, especially towards the end of the year, James got going, and he really started to get a feel for it. So, we'll see if we got a guy here that can replace that role, which I'm excited about the guys that we have, whether it be Sampson or.
I don't know if he had got the news already, but James did get approved for the little program, and basically all he got to do is just stay away from old girl for an entire year, and he good. So I'm pretty sure with that being said, shoot, the NFL probably gonna suspend him for maybe 6 games. And hey, man, let that be that. Make sure, hey, don't get yourself in no trouble or anything like that, and shoot, you good, bruh.
Braylon, there's countless guys, Aziz, all these guys, just to see what they can do collectively and see what they can do within this system. It's going to be exciting.
How do you don't think you have to change anything? Just if he's in.
That's another thing. Like, everything we brung in this past offseason will allow us to rotate and have a great rotation on our front line. It's going to be nasty.
If he's not there, you can keep the same approach that you've had.
Yeah, it ultimately comes down to like this year's guys and the collective unit. If we can find 4 that can provide pass rush without blitzing, like that's where we're going to lean. If they need me to get them going at times, with a little help in regard to pressure, then we're going to go down that road. I think the beauty of what we built last year is we got the ability now to kind of go both ways, so we can really fine-tune this thing based upon the guys that we got out there.
What do you envision for Avion Terrell?
I've been blown away by his approach. Like, he does not feel like the typical rookie. Like, he has a rare maturity. You can tell his brothers had a lot of influence on him.
Yes, sir.
As we all know, AJ is just not only like one of the best corners in the world, but just his approach is so, and this is not a shot at DBs, but it's just so not DB-like, his approach, his demeanor is very.
I wish AJ will take whatever specialties and get his hand and his head around, get his hands together and get his head around. AJ could have hella more interceptions than what he has. His ass just don't be getting his head around, and sometimes he just be dropping them.
Linebacker-ish, like the toughness that he demonstrates and that he walks around, and the way he carries himself is so unique, and you can definitely feel that on his brother. So excited about his future. Where his future is, I couldn't tell you yet, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, and I don't want to put him somewhere where he can't necessarily thrive. So a lot of that will be figured out through spring and probably won't be really finalized through training camp, because he's another guy with versatility. I think he's got the ability to play inside and outside, and so a lot of that will be based upon competition and kind of where it all works itself out, and then fit him best where he can contribute this year, because I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a significant contributor year one.
What about Braylon Trice look?
He looks excellent. I've been excited for him. He's a guy that he's one of those guys that loves the game so much, and when he's not out there, he's hurt. Like, it weighs so heavily on him, So I'm so excited for him to finally get an opportunity to demonstrate who he is as a player. And the thing I love about Braylon is, like, we talk about, and I know I talk ad nauseum about heart, mind, fist, but he's a guy that lives that, strain, toughness, high-level processing, execution, and everything in between. So I'm excited for us, and probably more importantly for him, to get out here and really show the world, and probably more importantly himself, who he is as a football player.
Going back to Jalen, I remember you talking last year about you really wanting to master that edge position. How did you observe him be able to do that? And then just to kind of add on to what you kind of mentioned about playing more of a Caden Ellis role, seems like more ability for him this year to stand up a little bit and be a little bit more versatile.
Yeah, and I'd put a lot of that on me, that the fact that we didn't necessarily take him where I think we could have taken him, and part of that was the emergence of Caden. Part of that was the scheme was like, it was going right and left and up and down, and it was evolving and growing.
That just means, to me, what that means is Raheem Morris has had his hand in the pot trying to do other stuff and not letting Jeff Ulbrich do what he needed to do. That's all that is. That's what that means.
The year went along. Really exciting to see what it became by the last, 3 or 4 games. And I thought, now there was some growing pains within that. And within that, like, we didn't necessarily maybe feature him as well as we could have, or develop him as well as we could have. So I'm excited this year. Just such a clear vision for what he'll do for us, and ways that we need to get him better, and ways that he will get better. So I'm excited about what he'll become this year.
How do you kind of manage the unknown? Like, when it comes to James Pierce, like, no one knows what it's going to be. So do you just act like he's not here anymore and there's a potential he comes back? I mean, how do you coach around that, or how do you deal with that?
In all honesty, and it's whether a guy gets fined or hurt, there's so many things that are always in play at this level. So it's just the guys that are here today, the guys that we're going to.
You just keep coaching like he ain't there. Shoot, you focus on who's there, not who's not there.
We're going to ride with and develop and feature in the right ways, and I know that Coach addressed that this morning. So, like, I collect information. We don't know exactly where that is yet, but we're just going to coach the guys that we have as best we can, feature them best we can, and we'll go from there.
Rich, I'm sorry if you've been asked this already, but Kevin was talking earlier about kind of just like the calming presence that Divine has just with other guys on the team. I'm curious whether it be when you're playing or coaching, who in maybe that role you kind of looked to or saw had that calming presence that exemplified that.
Yeah, gosh, he's so unique. Because I've been around, like, guys that are really demonstrative leaders that can have that effect,
right,
where it's like their voice just calms you down because they have such, they're so demonstrative and so certain in everything they do, and so even keeled when it comes to whatever the situation it may be. They're that rock, that you can lean on, and he does that in a way I've never seen before. It's so unique in his calmness and his demeanor and his consistency and all that he does. I'm excited for him to get the green dot. I think it's going to be an opportunity to really push him in the direction that he's headed. I think he's got the capacity to be an amazing leader, and a leader in his own unique way now, but an amazing leader. And I think we saw just the tip of the iceberg from a player's perspective, what he can become. So excited. Like, he misses a few days here and there. And this is no shot at anybody else. This is more a testament to him. When he's out there, we feel different. Like, when he's out there today, it was like, I feel calm,
Yeah.
It's just.
Hey, I did too. I felt good when he was out there, and then Divine went down with that injury. I was like, no.
This big avatar out there, protecting dig windows, and he's just so, so athletic, and he's so intelligent, and he's so instinctual, and he's so long and big, and he checks so many boxes for you. And now to see him finally get this opportunity to be the voice of the defense, because I think he's ready for that, and I'm excited for him in that way.
He said that when we were talking to him earlier, he was like, I'm not much of a talker. And he's very, like, introvert's not the right word, but he's, more of a quiet,
reserved
guy. And he said something that you challenged him with was to be more vocal. Can you kind of walk me through kind of what that expectation is for him now in the role that you have him for?
Yeah, for one, when you get the green dot, you naturally have a stage with the defense because you're the voice and you're the one calling the defenses. You're the one making the checks, and obviously you're getting help from the safeties and the other linebackers. But the stage is there for him now. Now, like I'm careful about this because I think disingenuous leaders that try to lead like someone else or someone that they're not, they will not be followed. They won't be the force multiplier that we talk about. So it's really finding his voice that's authentic to him, and that's what's so unique about him, because you're right, he's not the big, loud, demonstrative, pound my chest, constantly be in front of the group, but I think he has so much to say and he has so much value in that way. I want to keep pushing him to speak and affect people because he can in such an amazing, positive way.
And then some of the other guys in that room, like Christian Harris, Kendall Daniels, what have you seen from those guys, and kind of how do they support having a guy like that in the middle?
Yeah, all of them. It's just they're a little silo of a family within our defense. That linebacker group already have amazing chemistry, and you can see them intense competition in that group. Like whoever ends up being the starter is going to have to earn it because there's a lot of talent in that room, and whoever's the backup better be ready to play, because I think there's going to be a role that they all deserve to have in some capacity. So I just think it's an amazing group. Like, and that's the linebacker group, but that's really the defense. Like it's that rare occurrence, and I kind of spoke on this last year, and I feel like we've gotten even better in this way, that in this world that we live in that is so about selfishness and self-promotion and about me rather than we and the team. We don't have that here. You can't be an asshole on this defense. You can't be a self-promoter. You can't be. If you do, you're going to stick out. And you're not going to be accepted, and you're not going to be part of it very long. So it's so refreshing for me to be able to come to a workspace like this and get to coach guys that want to be coached and developed and pushed, and that have such humility and have so much grace and kindness for each other. And that sounds really weird when you speak about football, but it lives here, and it's going to be a big reason that we're probably going to be better than most think we'll be.
What were some of your takeaways at the coaches clinic that you were able to go to, and is being a head coach one day still something that you would like to do?
I think it is. I do. It'd be an exciting opportunity, and I think I've been in this so long, playing, coaching, and that I would love the challenge of doing that. At the same time, like, this has been an amazing experience for me this year, because I've been with a lot of people that I kind of came up with, whether playing or coaching, with Dan and Raheem and even Coach Carroll and all these guys that have had amazing influences on me. But they do come from a similar tree, and to be with Kevin now, it's been awesome because I'm learning such a unique and different way. Not better or worse, just a different way, and it's helping me grow, and it's pushing me to be maybe a little uncomfortable at times, but in the most best of ways. So I'm in my feet right now, and like I said, I love coaching this group of guys, and I love this coaching staff that we have from top to bottom. It's just rare that you have all of that in one place. Usually I'm sure you guys all experience that in your workplaces. There's that one person you want to be around, and we don't have that.
I'm glad. I'm super glad that he feels this way and he feels comfortable wanting to work with Kevin Stefanski, because that's a big part that certain people don't talk about. Like, damn, bruh, our coaching staff is different, but it's like they gotta mesh. Our coaching staff is going to be a really crucial part of this team this year, because these guys gotta mesh and get along and work together for real. And I'm glad to hear what he's saying.
Here, and I feel very fortunate that is the case.
Thank you.
What do you like about Kendall Daniels when you talk about a guy who's converted safety? Now he's kind of just a Swiss Army knife, kind of go everywhere.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I mean, he's obviously very young, inexperienced, and still fairly new to the linebacker position. Another guy like Divine, who's a converted guy that was a safety at Oklahoma State. And even when he went to Oklahoma, he did a little bit of everything. He played in the half field like a safety would, and then he'd play at the line of scrimmage, then he'd play off so. It's going to be fun developing him and really seeing where he fits and where he can contribute year one. I would say, like, and this is not just from an appearance standpoint, because I get they're both long and tall and ex-safeties, but him and Divine are very similar in a lot of ways, and you couldn't ask for a better mentor in every way than Divine for Kendall. And
I think I'm gonna say this: if we don't re-sign Divine Diablo, I think Kendall Daniel is going to be his replacement.
And Kendall's success,
just how he's talking about it, and then it's like he's basically seeming like he's already backing. That's like who Divine Diablo's backup is. Yeah,
a lot of it will be attributed to being around Divine. So it's going to be an awesome relationship as I see it grow and push each other and develop each other.
You've seen a lot of great safety combinations in your day. How would you compare this starting group of safeties with some of the past? Because it looks like you guys are kind of going something special here.
Yeah, it's as good as I've ever been around. And to think like X we know is going to be, he's going to be a star, and Jesse we know is a solidified star in this league. But I think both have such space to still grow, and I know that X obviously, like, he's going to grow and get better, but I think even Jesse does too, and that's a byproduct of a guy that's just got amazing humility. Here's a guy that's been the face of the NFL as far as safety play is concerned for quite a while now, that's still so hungry to learn and grow and such humility to help others around him, and we've got some young guys in the room too that and with the addition of Sidney Brown, like we got some millionaire problems on the back end, like trying to figure out, how to utilize all these guys and how to feature these guys, because I think there's so many guys on our back end, whether it be safety, nickel, or corner, that deserve the right to be a part of what we're trying to build here. So it's gonna be a good challenge for me.
What have you seen from the guys?
Okay, Mr. Callahan, Mr. Callahan. Let's see what you got to say.
It's been great. It's give and take, and it's been fun. It's a great group of guys. And Coach Led did a phenomenal job here. When he was here.
I ain't gonna lie. He looked like a great offensive line. Hey, I'm sorry. He looked like a great offensive line coach to me. I'm just saying, folks.
He's got the line rolling. They're physical. They have a great attitude about themselves. They did a great job producing in the run game. So I'm just here to maintain what they've done and improve upon it.
Do you have a different approach when you come into a room where?
Tell me why he looked like a Bill Belichick a little bit. Is he the Bill Belichick of offensive line coaches?
You've got a lot of veteran guys versus maybe younger guys. Does your approach change, or do you come in and just do it the same way you would?
Well, I think everybody's different. I treat them all different. I think a 13-year vet like Jake versus a rookie walking in the door, it's different. So, I monitor that. I'm really careful about what I say to each person, so I don't want to confuse the young guys, so I don't give them too much, but I also want to be able to challenge the older vets with some new information, maybe things that they haven't heard or things that they haven't done before.
We were talking to Jake about how you kind of dropped some references, like, when I taught Joe Thomas this or this and this, and he's like, some of that might go over some of the younger guys' head, but I have a big appreciation for it. Is there some of that for you? You're like, he might know who that is. Like, you think of that when you talk to the younger guys?
I do. I'm cognizant of that, and because of the generational gap.
Right.
So I just make them do rookie reports. I make them do a little bit more, background, because I have such a great reverence for the game, and I think the history of the game is important. And it's important for the rookies to understand, the NFL, and we stand on broad shoulders for the guys that have come before us. So I think it's important that they appreciate, what players have done, and that they understand, some of the greatness about these players that have played.
So you have them doing a little bit of. So you kind of give them like a book report kind of deal.
Like, absolutely, absolutely. We're going to give them. How's it work? Well, just absolutely. They get a report assignment, and they have to come up in front of the group and present that report to the group. And the group, it's to the group now. They'll either thumbs up or thumbs down the report. I don't have anything to say about it. That's the fun of the offensive line room.
And what are these reports about? Are they from past
Could be anything.
legendary
It could be anything.
But it's historical NFL stuff.
A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
Pop culture in there too.
I like him. I like him. I like Mr. Callahan. I like him. He ain't giving no information out. Oh yeah. What's on the report? Nah, I ain't giving you no information, buddy. I ain't giving y'all no information. Y'all not about to take my little secret tips and tricks. Yeah. Just watch the product.
Spice of life, right? To keep it interesting, right?
Okay.
Who gets to pick the topic?
Hell yeah.
That's could come from the coaches. It could come from the players. Could come from the vets.
Okay.
So it's fun. It's a good environment. It's been a great environment.
One of your rookies he's a pretty bright guy, Ethan Onyama, right? Has a degree in something I don't even know what it is, but bioengineering or something.
Right.
Has he done any of these rookie reports yet? Is he the straight A student? Okay.
We haven't gotten that deep in the weeds yet about that, but we're certainly going to get there.
Okay.
Speaking of vets, what is it like to have like a Jake Matthews in the room and just what he's been able to do for this franchise and this team and how he
Yeah, so real honor for me to coach, a player like Jake. His lineage, tremendous respect, for what he's accomplished as a veteran player in our league. And then having his presence in the room means a great deal for the line. His leadership, you just can't underestimate what that means and how it carries over from week to week, meeting to meeting. Just watching those guys, how they prepare. It's very impressive. They're a true pro. They're consummate pros, and they know how to get ready for a meeting. They know how to get ready for a practice, and they do a great job on the field. And that's where it really comes to fruition, is when you watch these guys work. They've been well trained. They come off the ball. They work hard. They finish. They play with great effort. So when you have those intangibles working for you, and they show up in tangible ways, it means a great deal.
James Brockmeyer was getting a lot of reps here with that first year. What have you seen from him just as a UDFA and adjusting to everything?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the job he did today. We had some veteran centers out, so he had to step up and step in and take over the controls, and he did a great job. He was like the air traffic controlman today, so he landed all the planes safely, which was great. He did a great job.
This group has had a lot of continuity over the years, just with several of these guys. How do you balance wanting to kind of keep the continuity where you can versus putting some competition in place for guys to potentially earn starting jobs?
Well, I think that takes place in training camp. I think once we get there, you'll see the competition, the competitive drills come alive a little bit more. So the evaluations they're truer, they're pure. But I think it's always good to have competition at any position, every position. And the way that the league is right now, you're filtering in young players. You're churning the bottom of your roster. You're trying to develop players, especially in the line. So the value of developing a young offensive lineman that could play for you, monetarily, it just helps everything. Helps the cap, allows you to go get a better player at the skill position. So the more we can develop in that area, not expend on a higher pick, that's what everybody's shooting for.
Is there
ideally?
Is there a common adjustment that rookies specifically have to make when they get to the NFL, especially maybe when you were to compare the rookies and the types of rookies that we saw in offensive line coming up 10, 15 years ago, just with the way the college game has changed?
Yeah, I think it's really different. I would say to you, because of the up-tempo offenses in college football, they're not as developed. Now, that's not a knock on the coaches. It's just because of the nature of their environment. They recruit a lot. There's a lot of pressure to recruit. The tempo offenses don't get the linemen, doing a lot of individual drills. So it's really like an assignment-based offense. And a lot of times coaches are, they have a good player, but they're always trying to get the bottom of their line better, or the back end of their line better, so they don't spend as much time where here we can spend time with everybody and develop everyone, because we have that luxury. There they don't. They're kind of strapped with time, so it really hinders some of the development. But once they get to this level, it's all day long, so it's profitable in that regard.
You're from Japan, right? Like you were raised in Japan?
Where I'm from Japan.
Born there, lived there till I was 7, yes.
What do you remember about it?
Okay.
Ooh.
Now, this is my first introduction to both of them, Bill Callahan and Robert Price. Yes, it is mine. No, it ain't. It's not my first introduction to Robert Price. Robert Price was the coach that was talking to Jalen Hyatt when he was getting ready to come out. So I do remember that. But like actually like sitting and watching him talk and speak ball, yeah, this is my first introduction to him.
Well, we lived off base, so I basically spoke English at the house, but spoke Japanese while I was off base, with all my friends.
You remember any Japanese?
I do. So, like I said, my mom was Japanese, so in the house, she would normally talk to me in Japanese, and I would answer back in English, especially when we moved to America. And then in '96, I actually went back and I coached at a Japanese team for 2 years. It was a Japanese corporate team, and so my Japanese it came back pretty quickly.
What's the quality of play like over there? It was the.
I ain't gonna lie. When he said the shit, when he said he could speak it, I was waiting for him to speak the shit. Well, like I can speak it to your ass.
Recruit Seagulls, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I did my research.
You did do your research. So I always say it's kind of like Division III kind of ish football.
Yeah.
So our linemen were about 240 pounds, 250 pounds. Those were our big linemen. But the skill guys were pretty good.
So how'd you end up back over there? And then what led you to come back to the States?
So I was coaching at Fort Lewis College. I was the offensive coordinator there, and I was at the AFCA convention. And one of the guys that was a head coach of one of the Japanese teams.
This little hat thing he got on is called a visor, isn't it? Y'all let me know. I gotta remember because I ain't used to like having to say anything about him.
Sat down and he just needed a seat, so he sat with our staff and they said, "Hey, do you know anybody that can coach quarterbacks?" And everybody pointed at me at the table. And he says, "Oh, I coach a team in Japan." I said, "Oh." So then I started talking a little bit Japanese, and he goes, "Oh, we should get together." And we got together, and long story short, I ended up going there and coaching for him.
Then your NFL start was here.
Right? It was. I did a couple internships with the 49ers and Chargers, and one of the internships with the 49ers, I worked with Jim Mora. He was the defense coordinator. And then when he got this job, he said, "Hey, RP, do you want to come out to Atlanta?" And so I came here, and I was the offensive assistant in 2004. I was there 2004, 5, 6.
Yeah, and all this has changed, I would imagine.
You know what? It's changed. There's been additions to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I saw when you were at the line.
Damn, so he's already been here. Okay, and around that time, 2004, 5, and 6, I wasn't even into football like that. Like I wasn't watching football or anything. Really, I was outside being a kid.
Lions, you were the chief energy officer at one point. Yeah.
But I did know what football was. I just wasn't into it like that.
Yeah, I tried to bring a little juice. I was kind of the juice guy. Just have a little fun and try to put some energy into the practice. So yeah, one of the guys said, "Hey, RP, you're the CEO, chief energy officer."
Where's the energy come from?
You know what? I try to coach the way I'd want to be coached, and the way I look at it is like, hey, a guy that brings energy and lets me know what's happening. So I always tell the guys, hey, you're going to know when I like it, and you're going to know when I don't like it, and that's what I try to do.
Just one about the players you have here with Zacchaeus. What did you guys like about him this spring? What have you seen from him out here so far?
Zacchaeus, one, he's a true pro, and he helps the whole room get better. Obviously out here.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. If I was some of these other reporters I'd be like, "Hey man, if y'all shut the fuck up back there talking all that extra talking y'all got going on, I'm thinking I got another video going. It's these dudes in the background talking while he's talking. Shut up."
Here, he's been playing in the slot. He's smart enough to play anywhere. He does a great job of, I say, not just running a line. So we might have a line that looks like you go 5 yards and out, and he understands how to make that line come to life and find a little space.
Being in this role with the Dolphins last year, does that kind of help with the familiarity now with Tua here as well?
With Tua, we were able to build a relationship while I was there, and I love Tua. It's just a different offense, so he's learning and I'm learning, and we're learning together.
First impressions of Zachariah Branch?
Zachariah, the thing with him is he wants to be great, and I truly mean that. He texts me all the time, whether he wants to know something about what happened in practice, this last practice, or he's texting me about the next practice saying, "Hey, RP, what do we got this next practice, and what I got on this route," and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, he wants to be great.
What are the challenges of having a left-handed quarterback, and you'll have two here, and you obviously worked for Tua before, so what are those challenges for the receivers?
You know, I don't know how much of a challenge it is. I mean, I guess the ball spins a little bit different, but it's funny because I'm a lefty, Drake's a lefty, we have a bunch of lefties.
John's a lefty,
yeah.
News is a lefty.
Yeah, we might have more left-handed people on this team. Rarely do you have two left-handed quarterbacks, but yeah.
What makes it different as far as like the spin and like so it's not like the timing of the catch, like because we were talking to Jahan Dotson a few minutes ago here, and he said the first time that he caught a ball from Tua, and he's like, oh wow, that's legit, like it really is different.
Yeah, I mean obviously it spins the other way, and I probably leans a little left as it comes out, but they're professional passers, so we'll be professional catchers, and it'll be all right.
Shouldn't be a big deal.
No.
So how'd you end up in Atlanta this spring?
The spring, so I was still under contract with the Dolphins, and the Falcons put in a request, and the Dolphins decided that they were going to let me speak to Atlanta, and that's how it came about.
Do you have any prior ties with the staff, Kevin or anybody?
Nope. No, it just his receiver coach that was in Cleveland, he hit me up and he goes, hey, RP goes, I'm going to go to Kansas City, and I told Kevin that he should try to get you if he can. And then so I said, yeah, that's fine, I'll talk to him. And so he put in a request, and once that request got approved, then I was able to talk to him.
How much Japanese do you speak?
Tapsang. A lot.
A lot? Yeah, like fluent? You're fluent? It's hard.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit.
Yeah,
I can speak. Drop me off in Japan for a day, and I'll be all right.
Wow. Okay. Best food? Favorite food in Japan?
Great food. What's
your favorite?
I'm a sushi.
And see, everybody says they have great food, bro. I gotta go to Japan, bro. I got to. It's on my bucket list.
Guy.
Okay. Can't go wrong.
But I mean, I'll eat all Japanese food.
Hey, and there you have it. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe. And until next time, stay blessed, stay fresh. Salute.